Hey guys, what is up? This is Chris here on Halo Follower, and for the first time in quite a rather long time actually, I have accompanying me a couple members here on Halo Follower. First,
I'm Alistair. You know me as the community manager of Halo Follower and occasional editor. Hello.
Yeah, and this is Jacob. I've pretty much been the lead writer for Halo Follower for a long time, and I've made a few videos lately, so what's up?
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, Jacob is pretty much responsible for writing a good amount of content here on Halo Follower. So I've been telling him to get more up here, on the front stage, if you will.
Coming out behind the scenes somewhere. Yeah, I've been here for pretty much 3 years, a long time. So I've seen a lot of stuff, been through a lot of stuff.
You're like the man behind the shadows. You're just in the background.
I'm just here.
Yeah. So today, we're going to be focusing a lot on Halo 6. Basically, it's going to be today's video. Me and Jacob, we were talking about it. We wanted to do a follow-up, sort of like a second thoughts thing to the video that I wrote on why Halo 6 may be the best game ever. So we're going to be talking about a lot of y'all's comments. That's what we're actually going to get into first. And then we're also going to be talking about how Halo 3 Anniversary, there's a lot of discussion whether this Halo 3 Anniversary is a real thing or it is just something that many people assume will happen but won't. So we're going to be talking about that, and also Halo 6 isn't coming to E3 as it looks like, and there will be a little something there for Halo though, at least. So without further ado, we'll get into our very first comment, which is by Arc48. So he says, I'm excited for Halo 6 because of all the time 343 has gotten to figure things out. Halo 4, Master Chief Collection, and 5 were learning experiences for both 343 and Microsoft. 343 has made many mistakes, but they have learned from them. We've already getting hints at a great Halo 6 like the Halo Wars 2 art style, split screen, and Tom French being promoted to head multiplayer designer or something like that. Microsoft isn't overstuffing 343's plate with a game of year. And as much as we want Halo 3 Anniversary, the exclusion of it will only make Halo 6 better. Yes, Halo 6 will have its flaws just like every Halo game has had, but it looks as if Halo 6 will be incredible. So what do you guys think about Arc48's comment there?
Alright, so the first thing I see on that is obviously the whole 343 learning curve, how they've had multiple games to go through to try to get it all together at this point. If we've learned anything after all these games, they should be able to get it all together and make Halo 6 the best it can be. And the last point I see on it is the whole taking, if they made Halo 3 Anniversary, I mean, that's so much more effort and time and thought that have to be put into that would be taken away from Halo 6. So as much as everybody fucking loves Halo 3 and they want to play the game, for Halo as a franchise in the future to be awesome, this is probably a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Alistair? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. His point about Halo 4 and 5 being the learning curve is pretty valid. I mean, people like to say, oh yeah, Bungie got it right in the first Halo, but you forget that Bungie's been making games for a long time before Halo. They'd been learning how to make games for such a long time, but 343 was a new team back in 2009, I think they started, and they started developing. They had this new fan base to get an entirely new ecosystem around, so they had to learn all that. So I think Halo 6 will be better, but really, who can say?
Yeah, fair enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I said a lot in the original video, why you may love Halo 6, which, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet, be sure to watch it. I actually put effort into it versus something like this where we're just, talking about whatever and rambling. So one point that I kept coming back to over and over was that 343 learned from their mistakes, which you guys talked about briefly, and also Arc48 was that one of the biggest examples is Halo 4's Forge mode, in my opinion, was the worst. And I think I'm not the only one with that opinion. It was really flawed. It was outsourced, so 343 didn't even make the Forge mode. And they basically just, the whole thing was a flop. And so what did they do? They come back with the best Forge mode, and it's not outsourced. It was made at home. So and there's many patterns that's just one. There's many other things. Split screen coming to PC, you name it. There's just so many similar patterns that 343 makes a big mistake and then comes back. Well, I guess one of the more noticeable examples would be how Halo 6 won't be focusing on new playable characters because Agent Locke was such a huge mistake with them, and how he took most of the campaign. Now it will focus mainly on Chief again, if not entirely. So I think that is a huge point for sure. So we'll move on to the next comment here. K24S2000. Fan of your videos, 100% agree with your analysis of 343 and Halo 5's strengths and weaknesses. In spite of Halo 5's flaws, it is still one of my favorite games to date. For me, they have nailed the flow of the gameplay and have made it one of the most competitive Halos yet. Being a longtime player and a fan of the series going back to Halo Combat Evolved LAN parties, I've got praises and criticisms of pretty much every Halo, and I love discussions about what can make Halo even better. I've seen Halo go through massive design changes. For me, the removal of the Halo Combat Evolved pistol in Halo 2 was my most hated change of the whole series, so I feel for the folks that want more of a classic experience gameplay. I get that, I just don't get how the Halo community got so many trolls. I mean, seriously, this dude keeps copying and pasting, saying la 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 343 classic, 343 hates classic Halo, and Frank O'Connor admitted to hiring people who hate Halo. I actually saw that comment. Did you guys see that comment?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
See that.
I don't know. I don't know where he got that from. I guess it is trolls,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, so he continues saying, what these guys don't realize is that Halo 5 has a very strong fan base. We will all be looking at what 343 does next, and there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. So there wasn't really much to that comment besides, you know, just kind of talk about what we already talked about here. But the next comment here, we'll just bundle these two comments together and then talk about them. Maz Decon says it will have the most microtransactions. What do you guys think about that?
Which one? The microtransactions?
Either the second or the third.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that comment about that Frankie hated like Halo or something like that. But like, I remember listening to the like they had an interview with him, and he said he hired people who hadn't played Halo so they could get a fresh take on it, because it had been 5 years since Halo 3 come out. So they were like, okay, we wanted a fresh take, and they hired people. And Frankie actually said one of his favorite games at the moment was Black Ops. So
Yeah.
obviously you can see that they had some kind of intention to combine Call of Duty and Halo together, and they made Halo 4, and obviously people didn't like that, but they've never come out and said we hate Halo, we hire people who hate Halo.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think.
not how
What do
game
you
development
What do you
works.
guys think about the second part here? What Maz Decon said, because we have microtransactions taking over modern gaming. I mean, they're very intrusive. So what do you guys think? Maz Decon's comment is a very simple implication, but what do you guys think that Halo 6 will not learn from its mistakes, but rather be doubled down on it? Because we had Month of Mythic. Let me just remind you, Month of Mythic was taken off after we ranted, and Late Night Gaming ranted, and a couple others ranted, and it was taken down. So do you think they would even do that?
I think Halo 6 will 100% have some form of microtransactions. Now, I hope, and I believe, maybe it's a fool's hope, that it's not going to take center stage like it did in Halo 5, because it really did. I mean, you can try to play it off like it wasn't a big deal, and it's not really a big deal. I mean, it doesn't matter in like Warzone. There's no reason, none of that really affects it, but it still was like the center stage of the whole game. Everything was based around rec packs and microtransactions. So I think Halo 6 would be a little bit more safe, but this is just where the gaming industry is at right now. Microtransactions are here to stay, but maybe they're going to get a little bit less kind of like, I don't know, bad, really bad, like kind of taking advantage of the buyer, the consumer, player, the fan.
For sure, and I do think that Halo 6 does have a chance, because if you look at Halo Wars 2, we have the Blitz mode, which in its own right is a cool, creative new spin on the RTS Halo, sub-series. But it still feels as if it was kind of forced, because you have like this weird REQ-like system on the side that promotes transactions, literally one map, I think, for Blitz. And it's like this weird thing that, like, almost like, okay, they had a checklist, microtransactions, let's figure out some weird way to put this in. And it felt like almost like that with Halo Wars 2.
Is there still only one map in Halo Wars 2 for Blitz?
I believe so.
There's a skin
wrong.
of it. It's like a dark, foggy version of it. I played it the other day. It's pretty cool, but it's like the same
Yeah, so
design,
you can kind of see that they just kind of made that mode to put some sort of microtransactions in there.
It felt...
a little bit.
Yeah, no, it felt like it was almost a checklist
kinda.
item. Like they had to... Yeah. But, anyway, moving on, if we don't have any more comments about that, Doorman says, or Door M4N, I think that's man. 6 minutes into the video and you ask whether gameplay should ever be sacrificed for graphics. Then you proceed with explaining how amazing Project Scorpio is and how it will be 4.6 times better than the Xbox One to allow better graphics. Graphics and exponentially better computing power are damn well pointless if you're playing a dog shit game. Don't fall for this repolished 343 shit, guys. Be skeptical even in the wake of trailers and images. So this I feel like could be a troll comment because it's lack of reasoning or like the lack of
it's a troll
substance
comment,
to this
but there is some like kind of interesting topics within it if you kind of get past the negativity of it.
Yeah. Graphics obviously I think do matter. If you look way back, this is something I remember watching on a Review Tech USA video a long time ago, was that even in the 90s they had trailers for games that had like, oh, this game comes with like 10 more pixels than like our competitor, and you know, it's like a Spider-Man in 64. So it's like graphics have always mattered.
They will always
they will
matter.
Still continue to matter.
What matters is a nice
Yeah, but-
combination of everything. Like you can't go too much to one side without the other. There needs to be a nice level of both, and there has to be.
Yeah.
I thought the
The
beta,
beta
was
probably
that.
was that.
The beta was 720p, 60 frames per second,
look
and it looked
beautiful.
beautiful. And then the game came out, and the Spartans
Glow and
glow.
it looks more cartoony.
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You never played the beta, though, did you?
At the end of the day, though,
It's
I
good.
think
You're
what we're
silly.
getting at is that if they can make a game look better graphically and also make it kind of fit in the same kind of role of what we expect with a Halo game in particular, then that's good. You know, like just combine them all, get the nice mold of both. You need good graphics and you need good game. The game needs to be good. So, yeah.
of course, and of course, yes. So Meme Lord, our next comment says, I love that name by the way. How do you feel about adding bows, spears, and lances to Halo? Do you guys know what lances are?
It's like it's like, you know, with like a horse where they run and lance you at. I'm
Horse.
pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I always wondered. We have a really cool video coming up with Jacob. Just sent me a cool article. Should I tell them? what
Yeah,
it
go
is?
for it, man.
Yeah. Why not? I think it was the top 5 most mysterious creatures in Halo.
Yeah, it took.
I love the creatures in Halo. It's such a
There's
good idea
so
on that
many
one.
good ones, and this has nothing to do with this question, but Halo should definitely utilize more of the creatures. And when we get that video out to you guys, you'll see like Halo has some sweet, like Star Wars quality, weird ass creatures, aliens, monsters. It's awesome. So we'll get into that
Yeah.
more. But going back,
Yeah, and
going back to the.
I kind of regret what I said a long time ago.
About what?
With the Halo 6 species video.
Oh, yeah.
Since just so we can ground ourselves a little bit more in the Halo
Fair
6 stuff, is I said that that Halo has already like used up most of its lore. I'm starting to think about how wrong I was in that statement because there are so many different creatures. Even if you look back into pre-Halo 1, there was videos with creatures running in the background. If you guys know that E3 press conference with Steve Jobs, if you know what I'm talking about, that showed animals. And I think I could be wrong, but there isn't really any viable, like, up-in-your-face life in most of the Halo games.
Other than Halo
in
Reach,
Halo 1,
it had
2.
the MOA and the
There's
Gutha.
MOAs, yeah.
Yeah, and Halo Wars, the original, was supposed to have creatures too, but they keep taking creatures out of Halo. And I'd like to know what everybody thinks if we could, should a future Halo game get more creatures, like get more involved with monsters, kind of like, you know, how Gears of War plays it. There's bad guys and then there's not monsters or aliens or anything. So let us know how you feel about that. But
yeah,
I feel like we need to get back to what old Meme Lord here says about bows, spears, and lances. Now, I don't think a bow has a place in Halo. That doesn't mean I love bows; they're badass, but I don't think that really makes sense with future.
What about a crossbow?
Crossbow could, like a high-powered,
crossbow?
like 5,000-pound pullback crossbow. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Pinning grunts to walls, it's you know, shoots out like poles. Now that'd be cool. Now,
a spare gun?
An energy,
an energy spear would actually be kind of sweet.
Ooh, that would be fucking badass. Yeah. An energy,
Well, have you seen, what's the game where you hold it down? Oh, it's Battlefield, where you charge at them.
Bayonet,
with
you're like,
you know, the knives. Yeah, the bayonets.
Yeah, they
but
have
if you
that
could
in Halo 5,
hold down, you charge at them with like these energy energy bayonets or energy.
yeah, I mean they have stuff
Yeah.
like that in
That'd be
Halo
cool.
5, but it's nowhere near like as cool as it could be.
Yeah.
You just kind of wave your gun and they go, Ugh. So like,
Yeah.
and
Moving on.
maybe one last
So-
thing with that, I will throw in it because I've seen the community talk about this lately. I'll be quick about it. Shields. I think shields have a place more in Halo and with the gameplay. I mean, there's been Jackal shields since day one. Spartans have always been known to have shields, and I feel like shields would be better than weapons, like some sort of defensive thing. They tried the light shield in Halo 4, but that was like a cheesy Spartan ability, like, you know, kind of ability. Like an actual shield that you could wield.
You could have a shield
That
and a
would be
sword.
sweet.
That'd be cool. You could have the duel.
Alright, so that's what I have to say about that. Go shields.
So Meme Lord continues saying, I've seen a video where you said that Halo needed an enemy to invade. Okay, yeah, that's what the video we were referring to earlier. If another species did invade, then they could have some fast guys like the skirmishers running around with spears, poking and stabbing, then dodging and rolling away. All the while, others shoot the targets with bows and make a player to have to choose either A, shoot, the bowman, but let the spears stab you, or let the bowman shoot and deal with the spears. So strategicness, we've seen that already in Halo 4 be introduced, which is one of the things I think Halo 4 did well. And the new species could even have some vehicles using lances to ram into hogs and blow them up at the cost of a lance, with a version without it. Covenant Splinter factions could even use them. A ghost ramming into a hog could be destroyed easily without a lance on it, and the Coveys couldn't have just gotten plasma without having primitive bows and spears. Prometheans using bows or crossbows could even be more deadly. There's a crossbows. Tell me what you think. Okay, cool.
Well, we told you.
So do we have anything more to add on to that? Because
I think we pretty much answered his question before we read the whole comment, so I think we're good.
All right,
Thanks, Meme Lord.
Thank you for your comment. Yeah. Andrew Flood says, I think Halo 5 looks too childish.
Yeah, you don't.
And
You don't want to.
next comment. The Communist Dragon says, why Halo 6 would be the best game ever. I recall many people, myself included, saying that about Halo 5. Oh, how wrong we were. So, Andrew Flood and Communist Dragon, what do we have to say about that? What do you guys think?
Okay, so I'll go first.
What was the
Al,
O
if you
about?
don't mind, because me and Al are gonna have we'll have
I'll
much
let you
different
off.
opinions on this. I think maybe a little bit.
Well,
a little bit.
maybe.
All right, so hey,
Yeah.
I'll go with old Mr. Flood. Badass name, by the way. Halo 5 looks too childish. I don't like the use of childish as a word, although I use that because it's just a good way of describing things. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, it's cartoony, it's like plasticky and goofy. Like, it still looks badass. Like, graphically, it still looks really good, but just...
I don't know if childish is the right word.
Childish
for it,
isn't. It
honestly.
just looks
It looks like
depends what
it
we're
looks
talking about.
goofy and it looks quirky.
It doesn't look as good as all the other big ass AAA franchises with their crazy awesome graphics, and then we get this, and it's like it looks good, but it doesn't look as good as what we would want it to be. Like they bragged about the graphics being all awesome, but yet I mean, it's Halo 5's. It's a pretty game, but I've seen a lot more pretty games that I've played recently. So
depends what we're talking about, because Halo 5, at least in terms of the campaign, has some absolutely
there's
beautiful
good shots.
levels. Like San Helios is probably one of the most photorealistic levels I've seen. The caves, the mountainsides, everything.
I will say that San Helios whoever made those campaign levels and designed them, good on you. You did badass. Like, the rest of the game should have taken inspiration from that a little bit more, because the Sang Helios missions did look really good, and they made Halo 5 look good.
The whole game should
It really
have been about
should have.
Sang
It was
Helios.
sweet.
But like for the most part, it isn't childish. But when you go into the multiplayer, and for the balancing reasons, they've made the Spartans glow. You've got people running around with the Seeker helmet. Like many of the armors do look childish. They don't look practical like they did in Reach. But when you look at the legendary sets,
They're
ones
really
that people have
the
to
only cool
either,
ones.
the ones that the ones that they have to either work for or pay for. They look really
Yeah,
cool.
they have a lot more staying power.
They don't look childish. So it's like, it looks like they're made by two different studios almost, like the game.
What do you
half of it looks childish, half of it doesn't.
What do you guys think about Communist Dragon?
All right, so I recall many people, including myself, saying that about Halo 5. You know, this is different for me with Halo 6. I think Halo 6 is the first Halo game to where I'm not completely fanboy optimistic. Now, that's probably a good thing, because maybe I won't get, like, bothered if something happens that I don't like. But yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we all like Halo 4. Hell yeah, Halo 4. It's gonna be awesome. You know, Master Chief Collection. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Halo 5. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And then we're always like, oh, this Halo sucks. So,
I mean, I'm the one who's like.
I mean, they're all awesome, but you know what I mean. Just the overall vibe.
Do you think it's so easy for us to lose perspective though, because Halo 5, in my opinion, was like a lot better than Halo 4.
Yeah, everybody has their own opinion in the end of the day, and that's what we all have to remember.
Design, I'd say
I just feel like the depth of Halo 5 is a lot more than Halo 4. Partly because the Forge, but partly also because Halo 4's story felt kind of isolated, kind of depressing. But Halo 5's, despite the lack of, organization in it, it was a lot more alive. We got to see a roster of characters, some familiar, and there was a lot more going on, and it was a lot more fruitful,
I mean, if they would,
even if it was scrambled.
If they would have delivered on all cylinders, Halo 5 could have been one of the best games ever. Maybe, so it was there. They just, they just didn't nail it like they could have. But yeah, I mean, we got to stay somewhat optimistic. We can't be always so negative, but we really can't tell until the game comes out if the game's going to actually be worth it to us. And then there is also opinions, You may hate it, but someone doesn't.
You can't blame the developers for getting hyped for a game. Like, if you get your expectations up and then you say something's the best game ever, you're obviously going to get disappointed.
You got it.
Like, nothing is ever going to be the best game ever. Yeah. You said that.
Yeah. Moving on to Chocolate Thunder's comment, he says, basically, as a Spartan, one of the most, you're the most badass thing out there. So being able to dual wield shit. So dual wielding is his number one. Dual wielding is something I would like to see back. That would be.
No, I agree. I think dual wielding is kind of like a staple of Halo, and yeah, it hasn't been in it for so damn long, but I mean, you look back on it, like that was what was so unique and awesome about Halo. Cool. And then COD fucking, let's put in dual wielding, whatever the hell it's called. Like it was cool. Yeah, what Al said, it was cool. And they can figure it out and put it back in the game and still keep balance and all that. I mean, they can do it if they want to. We just gotta get it out there to where they want to do it.
Yeah. So he also says split screen is coming back, which I assume that would have been another thing on his list. So that's great that even this far from release, there's already things we know that Halo 6 will have.
Split screen coming back is a big deal. Yeah, that's awesome.
He also says bringing back the brutes with their signature weapons and vehicles would add more depth to the Covenant side of things. This right here, spoiler if you haven't seen Halo Wars 2, which you really need to watch the cutscenes if you haven't already, guys. But I think the Atriox and the Banished will somehow tie into Halo 6.
Oh, they
I
feel
like that might be the next thing.
Yeah, I think they should, and I think they will. And I think it'll definitely help the franchise and get, like, I mean, the more variety we have and stuff we fight, that's cool. And we got to remember, like, it's still called the Covenant, but the Covenant's not around anymore. So, like, we got to, like, remember that that's the Covenant side of the things that isn't the Covenant. It'll just be, like, the brutes and whoever they have. So,
Number 3, one thing I really, really want to see in Halo 6 is the anti-UNSC humans working with the new Covenant. Yes.
Yes.
In Reach, during firefight, we would run into elites who held human weapons called heretics. I believe that fighting against Covenant and humans alike would add a whole new depth to the story and explain why some humans act the way they do in the previous Halo games by sowing that seed of dissent within the UNSC. Maybe Oni too. Maybe take a page from the Assassin's Creed 3's book and have us play as an insurrectionist for the first levels of the game and show us the horrible shit that the UNSC has done to people. So real quick, I like this, Chocolate Thunder, but this is something I feel like Halo 4 was going in the direction of anyway. And since the galaxy at the end of Halo 5 with Cortana taking shit over, it seems as if they're going in this direction where the things that we used to know get scrambled. Okay, so we already know this, right? Cortana dying, random shit happening. But I would love to see the UNSC collapse. Like, or something like
I'd
that
love
we
to
would
see Oni collapse more than the UNSC.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing just making humans more of bad guys, which, I mean, makes sense, you know. Yeah, just with, like, insurrection, it's not just UNSC doing bad stuff. Like, I mean, yeah, that's always bad. But then we have all the innies, and they're all terrorist stuff that they do and all that. Like, this takes a lot more center stage in the Halo books. Like, there's always the insurrectionists in the books. Like, they always usually have a part to play. And I feel like the games just kind of ignores that. And I would love to have, like, to fight humans and to have a bad faction of humans. Because, like, it's very clear, and it could either be Oni doing their shenanigans and all that crap they do, or it could just be some insurrectionists just ganging up with, you know, some sort of the Banished or somebody, and it'd just be cool. It'd add a really sweet element to Halo, like to run up and just slam some other person down with your gun and you're a Spartan. So like it's cool. It'd be neat.
It'd be cool if instead of the fact like Red versus Blue being on Infinity, what if their explanation for Red versus Blue is that it was actually UNSC versus Oni? That'd be pretty cool.
Yes. So moving on. I'm gonna try to speed this up along because
yeah, for sure.
we do
This
have
is a
other
big
comments, and we got some topics we want to talk at the end. So I'm just gonna kind of briefly skim over these. So number 4 basically faced all the 3 factions, UNSC, Covenant, and Flood at the same time. Add in stealth missions too, which something we
That'd be
saw in
sweet.
Reach. I think it was cool.
Yep.
At 6, the vehicles that we use online should be in the campaign. Yes, I think forklifts drivable. That's something we all want. 7, please, for the love of God, let us fly a Pelican gunship. Something we can sort of do now in Forge, but not quite yet.
Got to do it in Halo
official.
4 too, a little bit in the campaign.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the broadsword, yes. So 8, epic space battles. That's something I talked about in the video too. Was it did come in Halo Reach? That was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was already
very
in
short segment,
a good place in Halo Reach. Like, if they would have kept that up with that, it could have been something really awesome. They shouldn't forget about it completely. Keep that in your mind. Space battles,
Yes.
it's always cool.
And 9, have the Spartan NPCs fight like a Spartan would instead of those idiots that we currently see in Halo 5. Better AI, basically. And 10, the things you've mentioned in the video ought to be included. So I can't actually list all that because that's a lot of stuff. But if you know what you can watch the video if you want to find out what he's talking about. Any closing thoughts on Chocolate Thunder's?
He has.
What do you guys want to see
points.
most from his list? What are you guys most excited for if you could pick one of these things?
What do you say, Al?
I would probably say, gosh, there's so many good choices, but probably facing the UNSC, Covenant, and Flood at the same time. It would be cool to
I
have
think
the
throwing
Flood
in
back
the
period,
humans in there would probably be the thing I'd like to see the most.
Yeah.
I remember even before Halo 4 came out, people were speculating that Halo 4 was going to be versus the humans with that one guy who had like superpowers.
Yes.
And they were like, "Oh my god, this is Halo 4." And I was like, "What?"
So, final comment, or actually we got a couple more comments here, but so thank you, Chocolate Thunder, for that very big comment there. Winter Soldier says, anybody who is eagerly waiting for Halo 6. Yes. Pretty straightforward, but I think
fair enough. I'm
the hype
excited
hasn't
for
really
this
set
time.
in.
Yeah,
me.
no, not yet.
Like not completely, because we don't have anything yet. Just thoughts and stuff about it. And then our next comment here is Dax Wolf proceeds to point out the fact that Halo 2 Anniversary had superior graphics and 60 FPS and still had split screen. Be real with us. Anyone with half a brain knows that they did it just to get more Xbones sold. Stop peddling bullshit. Or bull.
You never know what goes on behind doors, but is that the right mentality
that's
to have?
speculation.
Maybe not. Halo 2 Anniversary was awesome, and I think a lot of people just ignore that because of Master Chief Collection's issues. There was a lot of good from Halo 2 Anniversary that I feel like could have been learned from, and I hope they kind of remember that they did a really good job on Halo 2 Anniversary. And, yeah.
No, well, like what Dax Wolf just assumed is something that I see a lot with commenters. Obviously, not everybody does this, but some people do make really broad assumptions. I think we've all been there before too, and I think it's something. It's really easy to do too. Like, oh, they're making this to just make more money, which is probably true to some extent. But I think if you have that, like reaction or assumption, because that's what it is, we don't actually know, then everything feels fake, and it really does take like the fun out of
it. Makes you hate everything.
Being a viewer, it makes you resent everything that they put out, and just because they do something for money doesn't mean that it's worthless. And I think that's an assumption too. Just because they, cars were made for money, light bulbs were made for money. I think multiple people came up with the light bulb, right? But I forget all the names. Edison. But wasn't there a patent set with the original creators, and then like the other people couldn't create light bulbs? So he wasn't the only person to make light bulbs. So.
At the end of the day, I'd say it's not really right to assume stuff like that, but there is some shadiness that goes on, and they can learn from Halo 2 Anniversary.
The end result, basically, Microsoft didn't give enough time. That's really all we can say.
Yeah, who knows what goes on, but it's probably not.
They can make
good or
anything
bad.
for money. If it's good, it's good, and so we're not peddling anything, I think. So next comment is TTM. Guitar, hype is cancer, gives everyone unrealistic expectations. So another very simple, very straightforward comment. What are y'all's first thoughts when you read that?
Hype sucks when the game doesn't, fall to your expectations. Hype is pretty horrible, and that's what makes you end up being like, oh my god, this is so crap because I wanted it to be so much better. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that means.
No Man's Sky.
Exactly.
No Man's Sky.
I think
people thought that it was going to be a universe game with a lot of depth, and it was a huge disappointment because it was such high expectations.
Yeah, get excited for stuff, but kind of keep a level head.
Yeah.
You never know.
Being hyped isn't a bad thing. People like to use the term hype as like they say, don't get hyped. Like, why not? I want to get excited about a game, but when people get hyped about something that they're not promising, like Halo 3 Anniversary, and then they get disappointed when it doesn't happen, you don't blame the developers because it's not happening.
They will.
You hyped yourself. But if you get hyped over something that they promised and you get delivered that, then that's perfectly fine. That you're allowed to get hyped out of something. If you can see something, you go, ooh, I can't wait to do this because I know this is happening. But if you get hyped over No Man's Sky, over the possibilities, not over the what they actually told you can do, then it's going to get disappointed, and everyone did.
I don't actually know what the right talking point is about that. I don't really know what to say to this comment because hype is neutral, it's subjective, all right? So hype isn't cancer, but there is a lot of toxicity and negativity that usually spawns from hype, not that hype is the actual problem. So when people have unrealistic expectations, that individual in that very moment is, and the unrealistic expectation is usually what makes things unhappy in life, if you have high expectations, what happens? You stop being grateful. You stop being grateful for what you already have. I think a lot of Halo fans, and it's really easy for anybody in life to do this, by the way. I'm sure we're all guilty of it. I'm not even gonna say maybe, of taking things for granted. And when you take things for granted, you forget on how valuable Halo is. That it could have gone out of Microsoft could have gone out of business. Halo could have been a dead franchise back in 2010 after Halo 3. Who knows? So like if you look at it that perspective, you think that not stuff that comes with Halo that's crappy is like good, but like you're much more grateful if you look at it from a point of gratitude that these things don't have to be given to us. We didn't have to get a super awesome Forge mode, or we didn't have to get a campaign that was thorough. A lot of games launch without campaigns nowadays. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I think unrealistic expectations and taking things for granted is the cancer. It's the toxicity in the gaming community. We've lost touch, basically. I think a lot of people have.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anywho, that is all our comments. I wish we got a couple more, but these were the ones I got on short notice.
Good ones. Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Thank you guys for all your comments. And be sure to do a hashtag Halo Club. That just increases our chances of getting you on. So we have a few points here, a few topics that we do want to do for the second portion of this video. So that would be, we have a couple categories here, mainly just involving the technical portion of Halo 6 and also the more practical story elements of Halo 6. So we have 3 points on the technical portion. It's confirmed to come on PC, as all Microsoft first-party games are. That includes like Gears of War, and I don't know any other first-party IPs.
Halo eventually, maybe Forza eventually.
Yes, Halo 6 is confirmed.
Yeah,
to be
big
honest.
Microsoft.
They did say maybe.
confirmed.
They did say maybe.
Oh, maybe. Oh.
They said most first-party platforms, and this has been spun around, and people have said
well, if they don't put Halo on, that's their problem.
Well, Halo Wars 2 came on PC. That should give us faith that Halo's included.
More than likely.
Yeah.
They've made several statements to say that if Halo fails, then Xbox fails. So, if anything, that sounds like they still want Halo to be Xbox, not Windows. I don't know. It whatever the Scorpio will be might help to tell anything about us.
For sure. Yeah. And they also had split screen. Woo! So split screen's also confirmed. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
I don't. It makes me, very curious. I really want to just go back in time, and just like sit in the room where they were deciding, like, okay, if we have 1080p, 60 frames per second, that is more worth it than split screen. Because even if they said that it was a numbers game, right? That's the whole thing, is that like, well, no one plays split screen, which is probably true. Not many people use split screen, I imagine, compared to the millions of Halo fans that play, right? I may be wrong. But what it looks like is that they did a numbers game where most people don't play on split screen. At least they assumed or figured from numbers. So they took it away. But it's much more like a it goes beyond the numbers. It's something much more intimate with fans.
Deep.
It's not really.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
It's deep, man.
It's part of
deep, man. You can't just leave that shit out.
It's a stamp of the Halo franchise.
It's like if Chief changed his color of his armor to fucking pink or something. Like, it's part of the game. You make sacrifices to keep that in the game. And with numbers things, you can't really count. Like, I don't go on social media and be like, hey, I just had 10 friends that came over and we played split screen Halo, like, you don't go on, you can't count that number. It's just a deep thing that a lot of people still care about, and it clearly mattered by the tens of thousands of fans that kept being like, where the hell is split screen? So I'm happy that they freaking listened with that.
Yeah, there's been several times that some of my friends have come around and they'd be like, oh, let's play some Halo.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, you haven't played Halo 5, have you? And they'd be like, no. I'd be like,
guess what? We can't play
can't
together.
play.
We can take turns.
Yeah,
though.
no, I've had that experience too.
No, I had it
not
like
many
multiple
times, but
I had it a lot.
happens.
But I have a lot of friends that don't have Xboxes, but they're still Halo fans, and that's another big issue with Halo. Is that a lot of Halo fans don't consistently get on the level that we are, or like members of the community. Like a lot of Halo fans are outside of the norm, and like now they kind of took a big hit.
Sleeper fans.
Yeah, the sleeper fans. Like they love Halo, but they don't
fans.
have an Xbox. They don't have the money to get one.
I like
or
that name, by the way.
Have a PlayStation or something. So
I just came up with it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's where
They're
we're
like
at with
sleeper
that.
agents. One thing I want to say about this split screen is that it is. I love this topic about split screen because it's such a symptom of the bigger problem, which is it seems like they think that it's just split screen, but really they should look a little bit deeper, because I feel like they have done a lot of work on numbers, and that's fine. You want to do statistical work and stuff, but I feel like they don't know the gravity of their own franchise and what things actually mean to fans. I feel like they're not on the same wavelength, although I do think they've improved in the past 2 years a lot, especially with Halo Wars 2. They're really listening, but yeah, I just feel like they need to get a little bit more on board. And lastly, we have the Xbox Scorpio. So, any quick thoughts about that?
It's gonna be
What do you
good,
guys-
apparently.
Power.
That's all I know.
The power of the Xbox One.
Scorpio. Maybe it'll be something that can play split screen.
Yeah.
It's next gen.
Yeah. Well, I talked in the video with about basically Xbox Scorpio without going too in depth and detailed with it. It's 4.6 times faster than the Xbox One. So it's like 4 Xbox Ones stacked on top of each other. So imagine something like Halo 5, but 4 times as more detailed.
What does that really mean,
and,
though? Because the Xbox One was supposed to be how much more times badass than the 360?
10 times.
And does it really seem 10 times more awesome than the 360? Not really. 10 times is a big number.
Sometimes.
In some
Sometimes.
aspects,
Maybe
yeah,
Uncharted
but like
4,
overall, but I mean, like we really can't predict what it'll be because they've been so secretive with Scorpio, which is kind of good, more or less. Like
I'm worried. I'm kind of worried for Scorpio. This has been such a strange generation.
Yeah, it's been
people buy consoles because everyone has the same thing for a generation, and then they move on, and then they've all got the same thing. We can't be 100% sure that Microsoft isn't gonna. They say that the Xbox Scorpio is fully compatible with the Xbox One, but we don't know that. There's got to be some situations where the Xbox Scorpio has got to have an advantage over the Xbox One, or else people aren't going to buy it.
What's the bad that's gonna come from this? Like, there's gonna be something bad. It ain't gonna be all freaking smiles and shits and giggles.
Well, there will be limitations for
what's
sure.
gonna be negatively come from the Scorpio? We will see.
I can't say that word either.
Yeah,
Okay. So moving on, we have the more practical parts of Halo. So we have theories, and I don't know if we really have much to talk about that, but basically what I did want to talk about, I know Jacob, you want to talk about this. Tom French was the Forge head, I believe, and he was moved to multiplayer head, and a lot of people were, and I talked about this briefly in the video, people are excited because Tom French seems like he knows what he's doing. Exactly. He seems like up to date with modern Halo fans. And then Chris Lee, which I don't know much about, is also the new studio head of 343, I believe. So what do you guys think about that? Jacob, I know you have something to say.
I'm pretty passionate about Tom French. Like he's I feel like he has what it takes to take over the mantle. And I hope that he does, and he doesn't make me out to be like a fool at the end of Halo 6. But like, I mean, he kicked ass with Halo 5's Forge. Like, that crap is legit. It's the one thing that I personally say with Halo 5 that people will remember 10 years from now. Like, the game was whatever, but Forge was fucking sweet. So, like, he led his team, he listened to the fans, and overall, Forge did good. Not everybody's happy with it, but overall, it did really good. And I think
it's the one thing that's no doubtly improved.
Yes, exactly.
Like, whether you like it or not, it's improved.
And I feel like getting the promotion is very much warranted. I mean, he did his job good. He listened to the fans. He responds real. He doesn't come across fake or, corporate-y. He looks like a fucking badass. I'd freaking drink beer and hang out with him if I could. And I feel like he can take it over and hopefully bring it back. But maybe I'm being optimistic. But I think it's a good thing. Change is possibly good.
He was in a position of power, and he did what we wanted. multiplayer in Halo 6 is unknown territory for us right now. We don't know anything about it, and it is a completely different rodeo than Forge. But with that being said,
he proved that he can lead a team, and
he proved that he could lead the team. He proved that he could make the right adjustments to problems. He proved that he could problem solve in the way that Halo fans wanted solutions and new things to be created. I don't know where the word is right now, but the revelations and changes and inventions basically is what I'm looking for to be created in a really neat way while still staying relatively classic. It evolved without completely changing into something else. So that's what I like about the Forge mode. It was a next step in evolution. If he could do that with Forge while still remaining to be classic and stay to those values, then I think that would be something truly amazing.
If you've seen any of his posts, if any of you follow him on Twitter, you'll see he defends Halo 5, and he actually has pretty much come out and said like multiple times, we're not gonna get rid of Halo 5's mechanics. Like, we're gonna work on it, we're gonna tweak it. But I think anyone who thinks that Halo 6 is gonna go past a classic gameplay, stop hyping yourself now. It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
But what will happen is that Halo 6 will probably be much more fun, less sweaty than Halo 5.
Fun is a key word.
Like, even in the less competitive modes, it's still sweaty, which shouldn't happen. I shouldn't have to think about my KD when I'm in infection.
Yeah, exactly.
This brings up a couple different things: REQ system, competitive esports, the beta, and the marketing campaign. Any thoughts about that?
We've kind of talked about the REQ system, but I mean, I think it should stay. It's benefited us.
It should stay.
It should stay, but be kind of overhauled and remade, and less kind of.
Wow.
I've seen people talk about cosmetics being part of the REQ system, but I'm like, no, it should be the opposite. Warzone weapons should be part of the REQ system because they're random. Like, you can't balance like randomness, but it's more balanced than a person who's really good at using a sniper just purchasing a sniper. That's unbalanced. But the armor, that should just be unlockable through
normal ways.
Yeah, the normal way. You should actually earn
get 5,000 headshots. Well, and you get the freaking badass helmet or something,
Exactly.
So let me. I actually disagree with you guys. So
what? You disagree?
Yeah. Get
the hell out of here!
How dare you disagree? No one else allowed another opinion.
So I believe that the REQ system should probably be removed entirely because for a couple reasons. But to quote myself from what I said in the video, the REQ system introduced a lot of issues that were both unnecessary and damaging to players who wanted a more classic and controlled experience, such as Halo 3's, Halo Reaches.
I can agree
literally
with that.
Any Halo game beforehand, pretty much. One of the biggest issues with the REQ system is that you can't actually get what you want. So while there is like the factor of, ooh, what am I going to get? It brings in a feeling that you would get at a dirty Oklahoma casino of like, oh, let me see if I can get some random shit.
It's random. The randomness thing is really freaking
but that's why we're saying
it has. But
that's why we're saying we shouldn't have.
It's addictive.
I want it to be overhauled.
They're promoting
completely.
addictive behavior, basically.
Yeah.
They're promoting addictive behavior, and what that does is it completely wrecks the entire system.
Yeah, there's a reason why gambling kind of has like a gray cloud over it. It's not exactly, praised. So like,
yeah, let me finish this point
let's
real
not
quick.
pretend that games aren't designed to be addictive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But,
Games
okay.
are designed about a
Look.
win-loss, and they make you feel good. Like,
For sure.
So yeah. But,
Let me finish my point real quick.
Sorry,
I'll talk about it. One of the biggest issues is that you can't get what you want. So basically, there was a lot of shit you could get in Halo 5, but everything was too inconvenient and it was too random to be meaningful.
I agree.
And that I believe that meaningfulness of doing those achievements, doing a VidMaster kind of challenge, playing with your friends and playing on the campaign, going back to the campaign, which is something that isn't encouraged at all in Halo 5.
It really isn't.
But it's not really in the forefront like Halo 3 was. Like the armors, if you wanted armors, you had to like do shit. And I think doing checklists are so much more meaningful than this mainstream way of
get your
basically
random pack,
encouraging players to buy, to get new items and spend real cash, and it's just a money grab, and that meaningfulness outweighs this addictive needy behavior. And it's not just bad for us fans because it leaves us kind of like not really satisfied. It leaves the developer and Microsoft in 343 in the long run screwed, because eventually we stop playing it because we don't find the gameplay meaningful anymore. We find it as, oh, it's just a bunch of random shit, versus, oh, I gotta go do these certain things. I really want this armor. All the excitement, all the meaningfulness, and all the satisfaction that could be there is drained out by this growth system that I would say is very lackluster. It works for different kinds of games perfectly, free-to-play games, maybe other games like Overwatch, for example, or TF2, but not Halo, because I don't think Halo deserves that direction. But okay, that's what I wanted to say.
Fair
Sorry.
enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like the rec system itself has benefited. You know, the content overall. We had 10 different months of content, and it was all free. That was probably the best thing to happen for the community for a long time, because it didn't split anything. The fact that you didn't have to pay to just get something that someone else that does pay get is kind of ridiculous. It's favoritism. But like, if you've got these random packs, then everyone can pretty much get them because they're like less than $2.
But see, again, like right there, that's what lowers the value of everything in the rec system, which is pretty much all the cosmetic and in-game items. So let me ask you, Alistair, because you just said that. If they said, okay, we're releasing 10 new items for Halo 6, all right, you know, the game's been out for like 8 months, and they're saying, okay, this month we're releasing 10 new items, one of them being the legendary Mark 5 helmet, you know, or Mark 6. And it looks fucking badass, right? But it has like this cool fucking ninja sword, or like this hammer, this brute hammer on the back, or like some cool insignia on it. And it said you had to complete the gameplay or the campaign on Legendary. Anyone can get it, but you got to complete the game on Legendary. How much do you think that would generate YouTube videos? Would open up a whole new streak of community action and helping each other and getting engaged in excitement, versus just a random pack dropped into a pool of
That's
shit
what we're saying.
that
No, I
even
agree
here
with you.
2 years later I have never seen.
I think we're kind of on two separate kind of ideas right now. No, I agree with you. I think armor, everything should be earned. I feel like the rec system needs a complete overhaul. The idea of it could be neat and could be done well, but what we got in Halo 5 was it was just nah. It wasn't very exciting, wasn't very cool.
It was, and it was good in terms of like when compared to other games that have microtransactions, but it could be much better, which is like what me and Jacob are saying, that we should have cosmetics are unlockable through achievements and like commendations. They should
like
be
what you said, like beating it on
random
Legendary.
things like Warzone weapons.
That should get you something.
Warzone weapons, random stuff that like where it doesn't matter, it's an unbalanced mess anyway. That's fine. You should be able to just get random weapons like that, maybe even some skins.
And take a much,
for the most part,
take back, go behind this, like, rec system is like the main thing in Halo 5, and it needs to not be the main thing in Halo 6 if it does come back. Make it smaller, less important, just less, what's the right word? Just, it leaves a weird taste in your mouth. Like, make it
not
less
so overwhelming,
less noticeable, but still there.
Do you remember the advert that went before Halo 5 came out, and they were like, if you don't like the rec system, shut up. You're a baby.
Oh, what, with like the,
it was just like that
the
animation,
little Master Chef or whatever.
People got
his name
really
is.
like personally insulted about that. I remember, but
whatever.
it probably isn't the best time to make jokes like that when you have such a distraught community.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of like
it wasn't a bad joke. It was just
off.
It was like a bad timing.
Yeah, well, I think we can talk about.
I mean, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, we can talk.
If Bungie did it, it would have been laughed at. But 343.
Yeah. I think maybe in the future we can talk more about the REQ system and weapons and armor, maybe on the next Halo Club or something. We can get that's a topic that can go on forever.
Yeah, I feel like we should make a whole video just talking about the REQ system.
And,
I feel like we
and
could
customization in the REQ and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll get into that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. Moving on. That was a good discussion though. Competitive esports. So do we have any thoughts about that? Halo 5, the last championship at the end of March was taking place inside a birthday tent at a Catholic church. I'm kidding, but it did. If you look at the pictures, I don't know if you guys actually seen the pictures, but it's actually really funny. What did you guys see the pictures, or do you know what I'm talking about?
That was the overflow tent.
Yeah.
Oh well, that makes
and
more sense.
It was before the games had started, and there was just one person sat there with some deflated balloons.
Oh shit.
Well, are you sure? Because even esports people, like, there was whole articles about that being the main stage.
Yeah.
Kotaku I think that may have been actually
a big thing,
the main
and they
stage.
misled people. Even my housemate came up to me and went, "Have you seen this?" And I was like, "Yes, I report on this shit."
Yeah, so somebody was just playing it off to make it probably look worse or something. Maybe we'll have to look more into it. But Al, go talk more about the competitive esports thing. You were into that pretty good with Halo 5, so you go first, and I'll go off that.
Really, whether people like the gameplay or not, it's pretty fun to watch. Like, the people can do some amazing things with the mechanics in Halo 5, and it's really done nothing but benefit the longevity of Halo 5's gameplay, because people keep going, oh yeah, Halo 5 exists, I can see it on Twitch, I'm going to go play it again. And I'm looking at the figures now. It reached 135,000 viewers at once on the 2017 championship. That's the one with the one guy sat in the tent, and it had 13 million unique viewers. Now that is it's a pretty large number. So it's 343 is going to look at this and go, okay, this is good. These are high numbers. We're going to keep doing this. And with Tom French doing the multiplayer, I think we're going to have a good balance of esports and just fun, which, I mean, it's getting me hope for the future. So I think esports can continue having a place in Halo. Like, you know, it's been Halo since the beginning, isn't it?
There's always been a kind of that competitive thing with Halo, and it's always been an aspect. Now I'll kind of go off of what you said. Yeah, like you said, the competitive side of Halo 5, like, that fan base is the most happy with the current Halo. Like, they're cool with it. They enjoy it. I do believe it took way too much of a center stage. I keep saying that. Damn, I need to think of something more unique to say. God. But I think you know, it was obviously their focus. I mean, they made their marketing about, like, hey, you know, we're gonna make this competitive and esportsy and all that, and it stuck with the game. And like what Al said, they're still using that to keep Halo relevant, and that's cool. But there needs to be kind of a more balanced focus on the whole content itself. Like, sure, there's 20,000 or 30,000 really diehard, you know, hardcore Halo competitive esports fans, like the ones that are always there. But then there's hundreds of thousands that could be there and involved in, like, the Halo kind of process more, that, you know, they kind of got pushed away a little bit. Now maybe that has something to do with Halo 4, but I think it was, you know, Halo 6 needs to keep that esports scene alive, and I think it will, but it needs to also get everything else going with it as well. That's what I think.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I don't have a whole lot to say. I think you guys wrapped that up pretty well. So we also have the likelihood of a beta. So as we kind of introduced this video with, was that I was talking about how 343 has learned from their mistakes. They do it exceedingly well. Tom French, 343, and Halo 5's Forge mode being improved, and many other things. One of them being a beta. And I think the Halo 5 beta was the most usable, launchable beta that had the most depth than any other Halo game.
And it was
I don't think I actually played the Halo 3 beta, but I do remember the Halo Reach beta, and that shit did not work. I remember it was a very,
I don't think I got
very
to play that.
rough. There was no beta for Halo 4, and any betas before that, I don't think I even played the Halo Wars beta. So
yeah, I haven't played it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, Halo 5 beta was most polished. So it was much better than Reach's, and 343 now knows that the beta, as I stated in the video, betas, in my opinion, are a part of the development, not an extra thing that the game developer should do if they have the time, or they, let's advertise the game. It needs to be an essential part of the development itself, not a branch of the development, like if they have spare time. Betas help a lot. Basically, Halo 5's beta helped with sprinting, pacing, weapon control, adjustments, and balancing. That's really good stuff. They had some really cool statistics.
Not all good came from the changes after the beta, though. We do know how there's a lot of people that go and say the beta had a lot of good stuff that got taken out. We mentioned this a little bit earlier. So betas are really good, but they can also be a really bad thing.
Why don't you dive into this?
Well,
dive into this a little bit, because I remember you guys.
The people. Yeah. Okay. You'll go first.
Okay. So with the beta, okay, Halo. I mean, I didn't get to play the Halo 5 beta, unfortunately, but I heard tons of people, like in real life, people I've actually talked to, and I've heard them be like, "Oh, the beta was so cool. I don't really know what happened with the final game." Like, and there was a lot of that, and not everything was perfect with the beta. I've heard too, but still, a lot of people think that the beta was had a lot more going for it, and what ended up happening is certain people got their say in that they, this didn't work for the game, this didn't work, and in the end, did it work good for the greater part of the community, or did it work better for that individual who said, the Spartan should glow more, or the graphics shouldn't look as realistic, and all that. Betas aren't always a good thing. They're great, and I think they should always come out. What did Halo 5's beta come out, like a year almost before the game? Pretty sure
2014, I think, just after the release of Master Chief
Collection. It was
Collection.
it's solid 8 or 9 months before Halo 5 came out, and that gave them time to make a lot of changes. So I think betas, like what Chris said, they need to be a part of the game, but we can't have potentially harmful changes come to the game because a few loudmouths, no offense, get their voice heard more than people who didn't bother to do so or something. That's what I say.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you make some good points there. Obviously, like what we were talking about was the development of the game itself. But there will be. I don't think the risk of some mistakes being made by a small selected group of people that might already be in their own bubble make decisions about the game, that's going to happen anyway. It's the studio themselves. So I think the betas need to be done anyway. I think Halo 6 needs a beta.
Oh, no, I agree.
If the Master Chief Collection had a beta,
it wouldn't have been fucked. Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be a very different experience for all of us if the prior knowledge of all that.
Yeah, it needs to be a part of all Halos. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
This is something that needs to come with Halo 6.
Without a beta.
Who knows?
If they don't put a beta with Halo 6, they are doing a split screen thing all over again, just in a different way. This is a thing that needs to be done with Halo, especially 343, with the fact that they don't quite know what they're doing. And I don't think anyone ever really knows what they're doing entirely anywhere anyway, but this is something they need training wheels, and this is something they need to do.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They should have done it with Halo 4.
You should say that to Bonnie Ross. You need training wheels.
That's a good way to put it, though.
Got some wheels for you.
Get out.
What about the marketing campaign? What do you guys think about Halo 6's marketing campaign? What?
Don't mislead.
Don't mislead. Yeah, don't make up crap to make it seem
right there,
cooler.
343, if you're listening, I didn't even say a word yet. Look, I didn't tell them to say that. I didn't hire them to say that. They just said it. Don't mislead us. That's like the general thought, the collective thought from the Halo community right there, that everyone thinks that Halo 5's marketing campaign was misleading. It wasn't. It didn't express itself, and
it wasn't even that it was misleading. It was more that it was better than the final game.
It was way better.
It had a better story.
Hunt the Truth
it was
gave
way
me
more interesting. I was tuning in
goosebumps.
every week.
Yeah, Hunt the Truth. That series, Key, what was it, Key, right? Like, he kicked ass, man.
Dude,
not enough people talk
wait a
about
minute.
that series. Hunt the Truth gave me goosebumps every time I listened to it. Goosebumps.
With hindsight,
343 made like one of the best marketing campaigns in probably gaming history, and the game came out and everyone forgot about it. Like I would go out into town and I would hear people and they'd come up to me saying, "Oh, you like Halo? Oh yeah, I heard the Master Chief is bad now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it?" And then
so
the game came
bad.
out and everyone forgot about it because it never fell through.
Well, okay, look, you may. That's a funny point. A lot of people like that's the whole thing. It's not like what you were saying, misleading. It was just, it was disappointing. It was disappointing. I guess it wasn't. I guess it is hype. Right?
It didn't hold up
the
to
unrealistic
false hype.
expectations.
Yeah.
But they gave us the expectations. It wasn't like they boasted about like being able to travel the universe and your ship. It was just like, this is what the story will look
They
like.
made something,
but then we didn't
so
get any of that. So
cool
it was
that it hurt Halo 5.
Yeah. It was misleading, but mainly just disappointing in the end because it sort of did have something to do with it, but not really. Can you imagine if they dedicated just 1/10 the time that Agent Locke got in the Halo 5 campaign to Benjamin? If we even just heard Benjamin in the campaign,
sweet.
that would have been pretty cool. That would have been
cool.
sweet. People love Benjamin way the fuck more, but they already killed him off. Spoiler. They love him way the fuck more than Agent Locke. I know I do.
Yeah,
so why the hell are they investing all this fucking time into this dude that we don't
the
like?
answer
We don't appreciate.
that no one
He's
wants
Master Chief
to hear.
2.0. He's not clever. He's not witty. He's just boring.
He's a dude
He's a
with a
Master
cool
Chief.
I like Locke.
In a
I
different
like, he has
Locke.
potential. Locke has potential.
He
but
does, but I don't know. I'm just
In
frustrated.
Halo 5, he wasn't good. Just breathe.
his
Just think of Halo 3.
yeah. Yeah.
It just seems like they make
would've been
some
cool.
mistakes that they didn't need hindsight for. It's like, duh. Like, we as fans are like, duh. But maybe, of course, they're in a bubble and they don't quite know what the right decisions are. Or like, this, like, duh things. Like, if one of us were plumped in the thinking table, plopped right in the thinking table, I think things would be very different. If they actually got Halo fan... Man, I swear to God, Halo would be like a lot better if they got like one of you guys, right?
That's
got
what I've
late
been
night
saying
gaming.
for
If
years.
they got one, if they got one of you guys, look, if they got one of you
shit.
guys, late night gaming and Actman, and just plopped them in the thinking table, Halo
I'd
would
love
be
to talk
so
with
much
them
fucking
guys
better.
about something. Yeah, I feel like we could.
Like, you guys,
something
you
together.
wouldn't even have to do much. You would just sit in the fucking shadows and just, like, step out and say, oh, wait, no, that's fucking stupid. Don't take splitscreen out. And then just sit back in the shadows.
Like,
That's all you
they're
have
just
to
about
do.
to make a controversial decision, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to put microtransactions in the game."
Maybe.
Is Hatsman around? No,
Maybe.
He just barges in. Stop
Maybe
it!
we should sell armor. I bet fans would appreciate it if they could buy classic armor for $10. And
Late
then
night
you would
gaming
just
just
step out
throws
of
the
shadows
computer out
and
the
say,
window.
"Wait."
No,
Don't you fucking do
stop
that.
it.
Make them earn that shit. 10,000 kills.
I feel like we've had a good run
We've had
so
a
far
great
in this
run.
video. I think we should talk about Halo 3 Anniversary next. Maybe next
That
week.
thing that's not
Because that
happening.
is like a whole another topic.
I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's probably not gonna happen. Well, maybe
Just-
should we?
but-
You guys, should we talk
yeah.
about it in this video or?
Just if. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm fine.
it's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
It's probably not gonna happen. I mean,
But just because Halo 3 Anniversary isn't going to happen doesn't mean an anniversary of Halo 3 isn't going to happen. Like, there might be something to honor Halo 3, like the new Halo 3 style playlist that's supposed to be coming to Halo 5.
That would
with,
be cool.
Halo 3 maps. Yeah, apparently
Or like an
that's
update.
going to be coming. Yeah, that'd be pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well,
But full on Halo 3
Brian
Anniversary.
said. I think he said something in the lines. It might not be a direct quote, but he said, "OMG, it's not happening," or "Halo 3 isn't
Yeah.
happening." So, that implies it's not happening.
But it doesn't mean Halo 3 Anniversary is not happening.
But I remember there was a video I recently watched. I should probably watch the whole thing because the guy was making some good points. A very small YouTuber from what I remember. But he was saying some very obvious stuff, which was that the Halo 2 Anniversary had similar comments. Yes, right? Which is something I said. But something I didn't actually remember was that the comments of Frank O'Connor saying, and Halo 2 Anniversary isn't a thing, and that isn't happening right now. Or it's not in the process. It's like, it's not a project. It's not a project. And so that was actually like 2 years before, or a year and a half before it came out. And Halo 2 Anniversary is a remake. So they did, you know, you could actually make a game after that. So sometime after that time, they decided to create it. So unless they started making Halo 3 Anniversary right now, it's probably not happening because they only got a few months to close that gap. And Brian just closed that gap a lot shorter.
Technically, they didn't. Technically, they weren't making Halo 2 Anniversary. They were making the Master Chief Collection. So he wasn't wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think even in that respect, though, I don't even think they were working on the Master Chief Collection. I think they said that the Master Chief Collection started only like 11 months before it released. It was a very quick, it was a very like, you know, straight shooter project. Like, just get it done.
Which could be seen from what happened. What can we learn from
it? I mean, it would have made sense if they were originally planning to just port Halo 2 over, and then last minute they went, let's remaster it. Like, that would make sense. Like, what if that was happening?
Yeah. Cool. So we've talked about a lot of different shit in this video. We went through y'all's comments. We talked about a lot of the topics that was also covered in the why you may love Halo 6 and why it may be the best Halo game yet. Guys, I got a comment for you. Do you think Halo 6 will be the best game yet? We have talked about it being confirmed on PC. Split screen, maybe, potentially something that opens the Xbox Scorpio up, since Xbox and Halo are almost all in one.
Sorry.
Tom French looks like he has some potential. The REQ system may be altered with. I do believe it will be altered with, whether we think it's good or bad. Competitive esports, Halo 6 beta, Halo 6 marketing campaign, and also, I don't know if we talked about this, we did talk about Halo 3 Anniversary just now, but we also have Halo 6 not coming to E3, which E3 is only about, what is it, like a week away? A week and a half away. I might be wrong about that.
Where the hell is this year going?
But very close, yeah. Obviously, we got no teaser trailers so far, unless something just came up while we were recording this, which would be great. But we don't really have much to talk about, really, besides this stuff, especially with Halo 3 Anniversary not dropping this year. So, yeah. Do you guys think, down in the comment section, let us know, please, do you think Halo 6 would be the best game yet or not, and explain to us why, and any ideas, thoughts, suggestions about this video or the topics that we've had so far. We want to hear it, and we want to have more things to talk about, so be sure to do a hashtag Halo Club, and thank you so much for watching the video up to this point. We really do appreciate that time that you spend with us. So, yeah, you're definitely up there, guys, if you're still watching. So, Alistair, Jacob, thank you guys so much for joining in on this Halo Club with me today.
No problem.
It's great to have you. It's a lot more fun than just talking to myself, basically. So
do you do that often?
Disagreements are fun too, to hear someone else's point of view too. So that's something else I like, having conversations.
Glad to be here.
I definitely hope to see you guys on a future Halo Club. Hopefully sometime in the future. We need to talk about E3,
for sure.
And what we're going to do on the channel as well for E3. So, yeah, I think, Jacob, we should do a top 5 or top 10 about E3. What do you think?
That would be very awesome.
We need to do some stuff.
Maybe a little bit, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, do you guys have any closing thoughts about what we talked about today, or anything you want to say to the viewers?
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Hello,
Jacob.
Hello, everybody. But,
Welcome to another episode of Halo
exactly.
Club.
Hello, hi,
And welcome.
Goodbye.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace out.
Bye.
Adios.